What's up, guys? Lucas Still and Craig Meredith with Optimum Athletes. And in our last podcast episode, Craig sat down with Ethan Gavon of Keep Playing Baseball, and you guys discussed youth baseball, the shortcomings of the showcase era, and kind of where that kind of leaves these kids once they get to high school. They're looking to play in college. Did you want to give a kind of a quick synopsis of that last episode, really quick, or what kind of Ethan said?
Yeah, I think Ethan with Keep Playing Baseball has done a really good job of generating a lot of content and information for the general public for free that really addresses just what goes on in terms of the recruiting process, in terms of the development process for young athletes. And I think they do a really good job of networking and communicating with people all across the industry. So he's a great local resource for us here in Sacramento. And I think they've been a brand that has really focused on supporting youth players, right, at its core, which I think ultimately is, or should be, all of our mission, right, is what are we doing to help the players. I think the players have to be the priority, and if it's not, then we need to do whatever we can to create opportunities and solutions for the players.
Yeah, I think he mentioned in the last podcast too, all the stuff on Keep Playing Baseball is free.
Yep.
They've got player-to-player letters, they've got resources, they've got video tutorials on the recruiting process, just stuff to help you along the way to reach your goal. So kind of things that he talked about were, in this travel ball era, these kids are playing pretty much every weekend from February through August, September, getting 3 to 5 games in a weekend. Then they don't touch a baseball during the week. They're going to showcase their talents. They're trying to, throw as hard as they can or run as fast as they can, but they don't know the ins and outs of the actual game. What do you do with a guy on second and one out? What do you do when there's a ball to right center and you got to hit a cutoff man? Who is the cutoff man? Things like that. So today, let's kind of dive into how we're kind of planning to attack that. I'll kind of give you the floor to.
Yeah, I think for us it was kind of a product of just experiment. I think this fall, with everything that was going on with COVID, we had a lot of high school athletes who just didn't have any opportunities to go out and play. And it became evident to us that we needed to provide some sort of solution for them. So I think we took a little bit of a different approach with that. I think for us it was, how do we make this on brand for OA? And how do we make this development focused? And it's funny, I know Ryan just mentioned it today, but I think we do an excellent job of creating better athletes, right?
Right.
And I think for us, we're always taking a mindset of how do we improve. And I think we acknowledge that there's some shortcomings in terms of guys translating what they've built in the facility setting or in a training setting and translating that into gameplay. So I think for us, it was like, how do we create, an environment that helps us translate the gains that are made in the training facility onto the field. And for us, it was really just about reaching out to local coaches and getting that breadth of knowledge and information and years of coaching behind us to really let us take a step back and learn from them. So it was really, inviting these local high school coaches out, inviting Derek Sullivan out from Sac City, and really giving them the floor to teach the game and let us learn. So we were able to aggregate that data on the back end. We were able to train these guys in-house, but then provide an in-game solution for us. And I think it was kind of like a light bulb went off, right? Like, hey, we have to do more in terms of this development cycle to be more comprehensive. If we want to be a development house and we want to offer the most comprehensive development process for our athletes, then I think it became evident to us that we have to provide some sort of in-game solution.
Right.
We were able to do that, completely internally, which was cool for us. So we could really monitor and track that progress all the way through that kind of 8 to 10 week cycle. And then I think at the end of it, it just became evident to us, again, that we have to start younger, right? I think by the time guys get into high school, 15, 16, 17 years old, we should have already provided them with a solid foundation of understanding the game, right? And understanding how to train and understanding the value of development. So for us, we're in a unique opportunity that we can provide this stuff completely encompassing and completely internally. I think there are organizations, especially here locally in Northern California, who do a good job of providing experiences in terms of the travel ball scene I think we're going to take kind of a different approach to that. Like you mentioned, starting really at kind of the age of 12, it seems like the baseball season for these kids is a 6-month stretch now. What we're saying is, hey, the travel ball scene does still have value. You can go out and experience these cool events. You can go play against some of the best players in your area or some of the best players domestically, which is really cool. But why aren't you kind of taking that 6-month period and breaking that down and looking at it from a development standpoint in terms of, hey, I can take the first 3 months of this and really invest in myself getting better.
Yeah.
And then I'm prepared for those last 3 months to go out and really show what I've built and really compete at a high level. So I think for us, I don't know if we'll ever offer a solution that goes out and plays kind of in that scene. Again, I think there's other entities that do a really good job of it. But I think for us, it's becoming more and more apparent that, we're obligated to translate this information to the community that,
Right.
hey, you should be prioritizing development. And now instead of us just saying you should do it, now we can offer kind of an alternative solution to do that.
Yeah, I think something that Ethan said last podcast I really liked was keeping the main goal, right?
Yeah.
And so none of these things exist independently of each other, right? We live in a world where there's multiple factors with everything. So if you don't train your tools and you go into a game, then your tools aren't going to be as good. You're not going to win as many games. If you just train the tools and then you don't have an idea of how to apply them in a game setting, then you're probably going to miss basic baseball things and still not win as many games. So if the main goal is to become a better baseball player, to win more games, to play as long as you can, you have to be able to train over here and then learn how to apply those new training tools to a game situation. You have to be able to train, and then hopefully after 4, 6, 8 weeks, now that these tools are better, you can then go use them in a comprehensive way in a game setting to help a team win, which I think we're going to try to do here with a little 12-week program.
Yeah.
If you want to kind of dive into
yeah,
how
I
it's
think
structured.
This alternative solution that we're trying to provide is going to be a 12-week program. There's going to be 3 days a week of training in the gym, supplemented by 2 weeks of on-field prep. So for the first 4 weeks, they'll be practicing on the field Tuesdays and Thursdays. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they'll have an individualized program built out for their training in-house. Then once we get to weeks 5 through 12, it'll be gameplay. So game situation, scrimmage type scenarios in those 2 days a week. So it'll be a total of 16 games with really a development focus. So we can go in, we're going to come in and assess them. We've got an unbelievable partner in Kime who allows us to run them through those physical and mobility assessments, and then use our talents to provide them with individualized hitting programs, arm care and velocity programs, as well as strength training programs. And then we'll sit down and work those into the individual's practice routine. So again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they'll have an individualized plan. When we take them out on the field, they'll be working with either current or former college or professional players. And it'll really just be kind of a step back from, hey, from a preparation and a mental standpoint, your focus has to be here in the gym. That changes a bit when they go out on the field, right? It's more of a competitive mindset. Like you had mentioned, there is a priority on winning and competing. So we're trying to kind of marry these two concepts of developing better athletes while simultaneously teaching guys the game. Yeah. So that's, I think, ultimately our goal is how do we do that in a 12-week cycle to get them prepared for this summer when they are going to go out into these travel ball circuits and play in these games.
I think one thing, like some of the things that I really liked from the high school games that we did in the fall.
Yeah.
As you say, Mary, kind of like bridging the gap between training and playing. Like we've run into, not problems, but just sort of hurdles in the past where we're trying to train guys in the gym and then, we'll have an idea of what they're doing outside the gym, but we're not there to watch them play. We don't know how many pitches their coaches throw them. We don't know if they're supposed to be in a velocity phase here, then they go and play in the tournament because their coach called them the night before, and they need to go play. So being able to kind of control their training and then go into a game setting with us being out there and knowing, hey, you just threw a bullpen, 3 days ago, so you're on a pitch count, and I don't care if there's a guy on second, it's the game-winning run. Like, although we're going to try to win, like we're still going to be able to hey, you're on a 30 pitch count or whatever it is, to be able to put a controlled environment in the gameplay to where we can control all aspects of their development, which I think just coming from the same entity, the same person having eyes on you, they'll be able to have consistency, whether that's us or someone else. But I think right now we're going to probably be one of the few people doing this where we're training and playing, not just a travel ball team, not just a training facility. And then, the high school games in the fall, having these coaches, like you said, like Derek Sullivan or, Johnny Susak, some top-level high school coaches in the area.
Yeah, Jackson Watt.
Tom
Gallagher.
All
just
these guys.
Shout out to those guys. Thank you. We appreciated your help this fall.
But having them walk throughout the field in a game, it's a game, it's a scrimmage. So walk over second base and just be like, hey, why don't you take 2 steps to the left? Or give them some sort of advice in an actual game setting, which is tough to duplicate in a practice where it's not a game setting. And then on top of that, like, we'll have Rapsoda, we'll have video. It's going to be data-driven games.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I know I think I mentioned this even in our podcast with Ethan, and I know I'm wearing you guys out with it internally, but it became really obvious that there was definitely gaps in terms of understanding with our players when we saw the high school kids this fall, right? Whether it's base running, whether it's situational awareness, whether it's having an approach at the plate that's conducive to the situation at hand.
Pitch sequencing
for pitchers. It just became obvious that there was really no fundamental understanding, right? There was differentiating opinions across the board, and it just became apparent to us that kids aren't really getting in-depth coaching by the time that they're 15 or 16 years old, right? Which, again, if we're focused on development, then we have to prioritize gameplay, right, in some fashion. So I think, we can still offer these data-driven games, but we can simultaneously teach them how to play the game,
right?
Which I think is ultimately invaluable.
Yeah. And kind of going back to what I was saying with being able to control all aspects. If me or Ryan or another throwing trainer is there, say with a pitcher in their bullpen on Wednesday, and like we're working on, say, a fastball up, curveball down combo, pitch sequence, and then we're out there on their game on Saturday, we're going to be able to actually implement that and test that in a game setting, to where it's not just, hey, we're going to go pass you off to some other coach who doesn't know what you were just working on for the last 4 weeks.
Yep.
So all of that encompassed in this, I think, there's just a lot of upside. To kind of, I guess, just lay it out there and break it down, we have 2 12-week programs, one for 12U and one for 14U.
Correct.
The initial tryout is going to be an assessment with kind physical therapy, mobility assessment. If you're a pitcher, you're going to get a Rapsoda bullpen, so you get all your numbers on your spin efficiency, your spin rate, your vertical break, your H break on all your pitches. From the hitting side, you'll get a KVS assessment and blast motion.
Yep.
And then in the first 4 to 6 weeks when they're in the gym a lot, they'll be able to use our tools. The hitters will be able to hit on the hit tracks, which gives you your exit velocity, your launch angle, shows you where the ball goes on the field. All of the players will be able to use our plyo balls in a throwing routine, and which will be individualized for them from us on the throwing side, hitting side, and lifting side. And then towards the end of the 12-week programs, we're going to go out and we're going to play games, again, with all the Rapsoda and all that stuff out there in video. So it's a lot. It's a lot in one program, but I know I just kind of brushed over all of it. Did I miss anything?
No, I think it's important for us to start providing alternative solutions, right? We can acknowledge the fallacies and the downfalls of what's going on in the industry, but unless we're offering solutions, I don't think we should spend too much time complaining, right? Like, we're always looking for the new solution, or how do we as an entity of OA, how are we going to be the ones to go in and try to make players better? So I think for us, ultimately, it's, hey, we understand that these are long seasons, especially at the younger level. Why don't we kind of break these up and prioritize developing at the beginning and continue to do what you're doing traditionally in terms of going and playing in the summer? Go enjoy these cool experiences in other states or with these big tournaments. Go and play against better competition.
Yeah, after that, go play basketball.
Yeah, or go play other sports, right? I think cross-training and becoming an athlete is more than important. Yeah. So, yeah, again, we're excited to provide this. And
Starting next month?
Yeah, so it'll be a 2-day tryout, like you mentioned. It'll be February 19th and 20th. Please reach out to us if you haven't already via email, oatryout@gmail.com. And we look forward to seeing you guys.
Okay. If you guys have any further questions about these programs or what they encompass or anything at all, feel free to reach out. And besides that, until next time, thank you.
Thank you.